Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Perspective with me, Julie Ali. I have four amazing ladies in studio with me this morning. It's a show with a difference. We're going to be talking about women of purpose, and I am absolutely amazed that we have that many amazing women within our communities doing upliftment work. So we're going to get going because lots to cover in this hour right here on Perspective. Let's start off with an amazing woman. She is Nuri Tim. She is the director of Sunflower Daycare Center, but she's also the coordinator of Women of Purpose. Assalamu alaikum.
Auntie Julie.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me back again.
Yes, it's exactly a year, so it's our anniversary.
Absolutely.
So you're still at it, Nuri. Remind us why you're passionate about women of purpose. What does it mean to you, for you, and women in our community?
So, Auntie Julie, like you know, Women of Purpose, we started the organization 3 years ago. Basically, the organization was started to acknowledge women within our communities who do upliftment work, whether it's through charity, orphanages, old age homes, doctors, teachers, lawyers. So we're focusing on ladies across the board, ladies in their own little right who do something for someone without wanting that acknowledgement. So all of these women that you're going to be meeting, these ladies all have their own little organizations. They go out into communities, they assist people, whether it's a teacher, if you're going to a school in the morning, whether you're a doctor, whether you're doing a free medical service. You know, there are these phenomenal women.
And we're going to be talking with them today.
Absolutely. You know, they're doing this amazing work. They don't want any gratitude. They don't want their caps to be feathered. All we want to do is we want to say to everybody out there, here are these women. This is what they do. Please get in touch with them. Contact them. If you can assist them, that is what we want for them.
Absolutely, and you do need to give them a platform so that more sponsors can come on board.
Absolutely.
To make a meaningful difference.
Correct.
So having said that, you have nominated about 14.
We've got 15 ladies.
15 ladies.
Correct.
Right across the board.
Yes.
And I'm kind of thinking you're having a function at the end of November to acknowledge these women.
Yes.
How are you going to choose a winner from these amazing women?
Okay, so you know, initially when we started, the whole idea was we would have all of these ladies that would come up for nomination. We would then choose one lady. We've sat around, we've talked about it, and as a group, our Women of Purpose group, we've now come together and we've decided that these women are all so amazing in their own right. We cannot choose one lady. What we want to do is we want to acknowledge each and every single woman for the work that they do. We're not going to say, you are the best of the crop or you are the best of the best. We want to say to them, ladies, we acknowledge all of you. We see the amazing work that you do. We think you are amazing, or rather we know you are amazing. So we are giving this award to every single one of you in your own right. That's what we want to do.
So Nuri, you know, I know that people look up to achievers, and all of these Women of Purpose nominees are really achievers of note.
Absolutely.
How are you going to get their stories down to our younger generation, because we want them then to walk in their footsteps? And how do we showcase them in an even bigger way so that people around them, very especially the youth, realize that there's a bigger purpose to life?
Absolutely.
It's not just money and designer clothing and being seen at the right places.
Correct.
How do we do that? Because that's important. I mean, before you came onto the show with these women, I'd never heard of them.
Absolutely. So look, Auntie Judy, basically what we do is, social media is an amazing thing, okay? All of these ladies have some sort of social media platform where people know about them, people follow them. You, for an example, you have given us this platform to bring these ladies on here this morning, so that is another way that we're getting them out there. These ladies work in communities, they work in community centers. We were talking about the doctors, for example. So they have taken groups of children, groups of ladies, groups of women, whether they're orphan children, whether they're the elderly, whether it's pregnant women, whether it's abandoned children. They've taken them under their wing. They've said to them, we are going to guide you, we're going to be there with you, we're going to support you. Some of these kids have joined some of these ladies when they were babies. They are now young adults, and they are still with these women. You know, they're following in their footsteps, they're encouraging them, they're motivating them, they're putting them through school. Some of them are even at university level now, and these are the women that have been pushing them and encouraging them and saying to them, you know what, you are worth something, you know. So every woman in her own right, she has her organization, she has her group of people or her group of children that she's taking care of. She has her social media platforms. You know, go to the newspapers for an example. If she's having a particular event or a function, get in touch with the newspapers. Go in there. Let the media know what you're doing. Last year we had our 23 ladies. We had 5FM come on board with some of our 2023 ladies last year. So through word of mouth, you know, I speak to you, you speak to ABC, and the word gets around. So inshallah, we're hoping that with the work that our ladies are doing, with the support that we have, with the networking that we have, that it's going to just encourage them and push them, you know, to continue with what they're doing.
We're going to be showcasing 8 of the women, 8 of the 2024 nominees. 4 of them, yourself included, are here today. We'll have a part 2 in next week's show, just to give our community an idea of what is happening in the communities, what more can be done, and how can other people watching the show and hearing the women's stories, how can they become a part of this beautiful initiative? Having said that, Nuri, let's talk about the 2 previous years' nominees. Where are they currently?
Okay, so this is our 3rd annual Women of Purpose awards that we're starting. The first Women of Purpose, we focused mostly on the ladies in the Eldorado Park area. These ladies are still very active. You will be meeting one of our ladies in your next show, Nazli, who is also our chair lady. She is, I call her the heart and soul behind Women of Purpose. She's very active with her organization called Giving with a Purpose. Our ladies from last year, I still work very closely with some of them. The Vestige Foundation, Hunger Has No Religion, Dar Shamila, all very active within our communities. They're still doing lots of food drives, feeding schemes. They're clothing the children, getting children through school. You know, I mean, just one example. We have a young lady that's going to be attending her matric banquet at the end of the month. Both parents are deceased. We're currently organizing to get her to the matric banquet, getting her outfit done, hair, makeup, etc. But I mean, it's you know, little initiatives like these that make you realize that you do have a purpose. You know, that you are touching somebody's lives.
Little things making a huge difference in someone's life.
In someone's life, absolutely.
You and I may look at it and think it's very insignificant.
Correct.
But it's making a very big impact on that person's life.
Absolutely.
Post this current Women of Purpose get together, all the nominees are going to get together, and of course it's going to be a wonderful networking opportunity because they come from different backgrounds.
Yes.
Do you see something like this eventually growing really big? Because I'll tell you what's nagging at me is I've met the crop of women that we're speaking with today. We've had off-air discussions, but going forward, something big has to happen because we have too many little splinter groups throughout the country, and yet, despite all the people putting in a lot of hard work, there's still massive unemployment, massive poverty, massive exploitation, and the list goes on. So we need to get all of these amazing women, put their thoughts together and start making a really meaningful impact.
Absolutely. Look, like you mentioned, Auntie Julie, there are so many little organizations that acknowledge all of these women. We would like to get to that point where we can get together with all of these other organizations and just become one big forum for all of these ladies. So like you were saying, we want to expand that network and we want to introduce these ladies to each other. I need you, can I support you? Call on me if there's anything that you need. So, look, it's still very early days. Inshallah, as we move forward, hopefully we're going to be able to, get out there. We'll be able to speak to more people and eventually get all of these amazing women together. Look, last year we only focused on the West Rand. The year before that, we focused on Eldorado Park. This year, we've gone further. We've got ladies from Lenasia, Bosmont, Eldorado Park again, Klipspruit, Nuclear, Coronationville. We've gone as far as Linden, so hopefully we're not going to put a time frame on it, but hopefully within the next year or two, we're hoping to spread our net even further.
Inshallah. Okay, we need to go for our ad break in literally, I'd say 40 seconds from now, but going forward, there are very many women's groups all around the country. Is there plans afoot to start collaborating with them in a bigger way very quickly?
Yes, absolutely. We definitely would want to do that.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right, time for our first ad break. That was Nuri Tim. She is the coordinator of Women of Purpose, but she also is the director of her own Sunflower Lane Daycare Center, and it's also in Florida on the West Rand. So you've just met our first Woman of Purpose. More to come. Please stay with us. Let me introduce you to our next Woman of Purpose. Her name is Fazlin Oosthuizen. She is with the Gauteng Provincial Chairperson of the National Coloured People's Congress. And I think that is quite a sticking point with her, and I think also the coloured communities all around the country. And this, of course, I gleaned from all of our off-air discussions. Gives me great pleasure to welcome to the show Fazlin Oosthuizen. Assalamu alaikum, welcome to the program.
Wa alaikum salam, Auntie Julie. Shukran for having me.
The National Coloured Congress seems to now be gaining traction. Sad to say that over the past elections, we didn't hear too much about the Congress. Why are you involved, and why do you believe that people should be aware of this supposed new political party?
So how I got involved initially is, after October 7th, people's consciousness just really, really grew. And what I noticed, and I've been noticing for a while, is what is happening in Palestine today is exactly what is happening in the Western Cape and South Africa. And so I thought...
So explain that, because people who don't understand the Palestinian situation won't know what you're talking about.
That the Zionist control of our country is already taken root. That the financial control, the political control of our country, down to our education, is all brought by this Zionist ideologies. And so when I say that the DA is a Zionist party, that is what I mean. Their ideologies go against, it is a capitalist system that has no place in our communities. There is no room in our community for community betterment. There is no, I mean, taking away from our children's education, etc., you know, instead of giving back. That is where we should be pouring all of our energies into, our young minds, creating education systems that are better, that give our kids hope to know that they are powerful and they are worthwhile. And I think I got involved with the National Coloured Congress in order to bolster the support nationally, because we are now national, but also to be able to really network with everybody, let people know, look, we are here now, we're in Gauteng, I'm here, please contact me, you know.
What are you promising the people of Gauteng? Because you've made a very, very strong case there regarding Zionism taking root in the Western Cape. We've seen it with our own eyes. The evidence is there. The property prices are shooting through the roof in the Western Cape. And so you have a tale of two cities in the Western Cape, the uber rich and the have-nots. How is that bridge going to be, how is that divide going to be bridged? And what are you bringing to the local people in Gauteng as far as your party is concerned?
Look, the National Coloured Congress, Auntie Julie, is always focused on community. So whatever is happening above here, whatever is happening in Parliament, that's a separate issue. And it's a very important issue where I also feel like I belong, right? But that is for later. For right now, we just need to let everyone know in Gauteng, we are here for you in your communities. Our most, the underlying theory or ideology is always to make a difference on the ground to these people in our old age homes, like that people that we take care of. We have adopted like 3 or 4 old age homes within our communities that we do drive through, etc. and whatever. Make sure once we are voted in, elected in after 2026, then we actually have access to funds that can make these things happen on the ground. Because I can tell you something, the current people that are in power have no interest in actually fixing things on the ground.
You made a very important point in our off-air discussions, which resonates with me very deeply. You talk about coloured education. You talk about UNESCO having an agenda regarding education in South Africa, and black people, black and coloured people, are still marginalised. You have been nominated as a Woman of Purpose. What sort of work are you doing in that area? And talk to us about your concerns regarding education within our communities, the majority black communities in South Africa.
I think I used the word monkey education system, Auntie Julie. This is what we have imposed on us throughout apartheid, and it continues today. The fact that they think that they should teach us this math literacy instead of kind of focusing on how smart we could be. No.
And the they you're referring to are the white supremacists or the Zionists.
100%. So when I say Zionists, I'm talking about people right here in our own country, the DA, part of the GNU, in fact, you know, unfortunately they have made, when you get money from a certain place, then they control your policies. And that is why the National Coloured Congress is very, very careful not to accept funding from all these people. And that is why I'm sitting with a funding problem in Gauteng at the moment, you know what I mean? But me, myself, personally, have already thought about reimagining education for our black and brown children in South Africa, who, to get them to start believing in themselves, to basically open the education to broader than just the classroom, where a kid who is technically savvy is not portrayed as dumber or like stupid, you know, which has been the case in the last 30, 40 years, as far as we can remember, you know. So we want these kids to understand that their contribution is still an amazing contribution, and that every single child be filled with the sense of my purpose is something bigger. My purpose is valuable, and I can make a difference going forward, you know, in my life and in the lives of others. And I focus very much on relationships and the importance of interacting in a genuine way.
As the head of, obviously, National Coloured Congress in Gauteng, are you gaining traction with the local communities, knowing that the other political parties are way ahead of you? And you've indicated you're having a funding problem. And depending where you get the funding from, you're going to be captured by that entity.
Yes, which is why we are very, very cognizant of that fact. And so if you have an agenda, I don't want your money. I really don't want your money.
Okay, and before we run out of time, the other huge issue is within our coloured areas, all around the country, particularly here in Johannesburg, Aldo's, Westbury, etc., is riddled with gangsterism and drug addiction and drug peddling. Are you going to be tackling those issues?
Now, those issues to me are secondary to the education issue, because once we can implement a proper education system, those things will start whittling away, and the impact of a good education would solve those battles. And so I feel getting the education system sorted will sort all these things out down the line. You know, so yes, we do want to tackle those things, but how you tackle it is very, very important. To go in there now and speak to gangsters about changing their lives is really going to do very little. We need to approach it from a much more wide angle.
Currently, what sort of gains have you had as the Coloured Congress?
In Gauteng.
In
Gauteng. So we've got we are now beginning to put our footprint out there, right? Currently, we've already got a really, really good gang in Hilaal. They are excellent people, so hardworking, working in the communities, and these are the people that we partner with. We've got a great amount of people in Westbury, Bosmont area as well. And so what we're just trying to do is get them operational so that they can start their branches and make a difference in their communities. So they would help the people with whatever their water and electricity issue may be, whatever their sewage issue may be, whatever they are struggling with. That is our focus, to make life better for each and every individual in our different communities that we cater to.
And absolutely, you've hit on the right note there, because you preempted my next question, and that is service delivery. And, you know, being dumped into townships and townships not being upgraded. Our streets are in a bad state of, you know, disrepair and all of those issues. We've got literally a minute left. What is the very important message you want to give to our communities so that they can support the Coloured Congress and that the coloured people of South Africa don't become a forgotten race?
Look, it's not just about coloured people. That the National Coloured Congress, yes, we will focus on coloured people, but there are lots of marginalised people in South Africa today. And I feel, and we feel, that we are sitting in an economic apartheid. And this is what we need to fight. So as National Coloured Congress Gauteng, we've already gone to the mayor's office, delivered a memorandum with regards to electricity and water, etc. And we will continue striving for each and every member of our communities.
Well said. You've touched on two very important issues, and that is education and unemployment. And if we can get those issues right, our communities will start uplifting themselves and we will start thriving, inshallah. And of course, we can see why she's been nominated as a woman of purpose. She has got so much power in her. that she is very definitely going to go out there and make a meaningful difference. Two more amazing women on the couch sitting with me this morning. They're here to share their stories as well. So don't go away. Welcome back. We are talking to the most phenomenal women on the show this morning. They are nominees of an award called Women of Purpose. The next Woman of Purpose is Margot Williams. She runs a feeding scheme for underprivileged children. She runs a creche, and she does so much more. And all of this without any charge to the people involved. So let's get to hear and see this amazing Woman of Purpose. That's you, Margot Williams from Ennerdale. Welcome to the program. My pleasure and absolute honor to have you on the show this morning.
Thank you for having me on the show.
How did this all start for you? How did you decide you need to start doing something for all of these little people in the world that needs to be uplifted, needs to be fed, needs to be nurtured and loved?
It's actually a sad story, but I'm not going to touch on it. It's a very sad story.
Just a little bit of the sad story.
Well, I lost my husband in 2010, and he was my everything. I had nothing to do. So one day I just decided, after he passed, what am I going to do? I've got 3 children. What am I going to do? And believe in me, I went to sleep, and I got up the one morning and I left for Ennerdale because I stayed in the Nasal South. And I went to my father and I said to him, we need to do something. We can't just sit like this here. And my father was a chief at then chief of the Khoisans. And he says, you're done so busy with the Khoisans. What do you still want to do? I'm like, no, we need to do something. I stayed opposite the park. At the park, I started having soup. It was winter time, and the children passed us there. So we started giving out soup there on a Wednesday. But the need wasn't there. It just wasn't there. And I said, no, man, let's go up to Extension 8 where my auntie stays. So she stays in a very
Impoverished area.
Yeah, very impoverished area. But anyways, we started with 35 children on a Wednesday. And we got a few ladies around there that also came and helped. But we did this out of our pockets. So I was also a little bit political at then. I'm not going to talk about it as well.
I believe you dabbled a bit with the DA. But something good did come out of that.
Yeah,
Tell us.
I was then with the DA, and there was an open space where we are now. It was just a dumping area. And I approached the right people at the right time. And
that's the DA,
yes.
Of course.
Yeah, and it is what it is today, a center. They came, COJ came on board, and they made us a little center with little classrooms, bathrooms, a kitchen, and it's where we run our feeding scheme, our creche, underprivileged creche. It's for ladies that goes to work twice a week, and if there's nobody to look after your children, they bring them there. Even if you want to go shopping and have nobody, or at quick meetings, you can bring your children there and we look after them. Well, it's a little bit tough now with the feeding scheme, as my father was our big sponsor. He was a bookkeeper as well. And when COVID came in, our sponsors went away. So that is how we got what CWC, which is Chef of Compassion. That's where we get our vegetables from every week.
So tell me a little bit about Chefs with Compassion.
So we met them during COVID.
Where are they based?
They're based in City Deep.
Okay.
Right. So what happened is that we were a group of people or chefs that met some time ago, and then we came together again to COVID, where we had to go pick up food, ready-made food, and then to give it to our communities. We also had food parcels given out, where we had to go to companies and pick it up and bring it back to the communities during COVID, because as you know, it was a difficult time for everybody. So yeah, that's where Chef of Compassion comes in now again.
And do they supply you on a regular basis with
on a
food
regular
for
basis,
your kitchens?
Yeah. They get from the market themselves, so it goes to Chef of Compassion. They have a few people working there. they sort out what needs to be sorted out, and what's good, it comes to the kitchens, all the soup kitchens. You just need to get there, pick it up, and take it to your centers.
Over and above of that, you're also assisting pregnant girls, pregnant ladies who don't have the means to buy baby layers for when they're going to give birth. Tell us more about that.
So we call it a starter pack. You know, we started it in Annandale, where the baby shower, we call it a community baby shower, where if you know about somebody that doesn't have anything, you tell us about it, we'll go and we'll invite her, we'll give her an invite. And we have this little a baby shower for them, maybe 10 or 15 women. Sometimes we had a child that was 11 years old that was pregnant.
So whilst you're doing this work, Margot, have you decided, in collaboration with the other amazing women that are here with us on the show, have you decided to start education, and that's where you come in as well, Fazlin, and you, Nuri, to start some sort of an education campaign amongst the youth about premarital sex and teenage pregnancies? I think that's work that needs to be done in a very, very big way.
We touched a little bit, but we will speak after the show, as we just met, all of us, we just met here. So after the show, we will have a discussion how we will go forward from this point on.
So you see this networking opportunity is going to bear great results, and we're going to be able to address the issue around teenage pregnancies.
Yeah. We also work with our local clinics. So we took the baby shower, just not in our community. We had it in El Dorado Park, and then we also had it in Rega Park. So we want to go further and not just let it. But when you start it, it doesn't mean it must stop there. So somebody has to take over and carry on with it. So we get our baby bags from Jewish women in settle something here in Joburg.
Sandringham.
Yeah, yes, something like that.
Okay, so everybody, it seems as if there are lots of splinter groups all around the country, all around Gauteng, doing their little bit to make this a reality for a young, probably teenage, unmarried mother, possibly even a married mother, but who doesn't have the means to see to the child. So you guys have a huge role to play, and I hope that this is going to be ongoing. I just want to come back to a comment that you made right at the beginning of the interview, and you spoke about the Khoisan, and I'm absolutely fascinated because I know currently they're fighting the DA in the Western Cape against a piece of land that the DA wants to develop further. How much do you know about that, and how immersed are you into Khoisan culture?
I'm very cultural. I am the chief at this present moment in the Gauteng area.
Wow.
My house is called the Nama House. As I said, it was my late father, so I had to take over. The land there, it's a sore part because of what the DA wants to do. Well, they sold us out for many years, and we're trying our best to get back what belongs to us, because it does belong to us. We are the First Nation. That is what we know. We are the First Nation, and nobody else wants to know about our status. All we want to do or have is give us what belongs to us.
Okay, now I've digressed here on the show. We're talking about the upliftment work you're doing, but I couldn't resist, to try and draw you in regarding the Khoisan people, because like with our previous guest, Fazlin, talking about the rights of the coloured people of South Africa, the Khoisan too are really fighting very, very hard for their piece of sunshine and to be recognized as the First Nation of South Africa. And the sad part about it all is it seems as if the rest of South Africa is oblivious to this matter. What are you doing to get the information, communication, and just the awareness out there to the rest of South Africa that we are a people, we are the First Nation, we matter and we need to be counted?
So we're having a whole lot of workshops. I don't know if you heard about the workshops. We've been having we've been having workshop all around. The last one was now in Cape Town, where we were sitting with Minister Gayton McKenzie, trying to bring us into the traditional houses. Is like the minister said, he was in a meeting where he found all the other nations there besides the Khoisan, and he had to stop the meeting. So he came out and he spoke to us about it, to say what is happening, that you all are not in these meetings, but it does say there on a piece of paper, Khoisan, but there's no Khoisans in this meeting, and I had to stop this meeting.
How does one decide, there's quite a large coloured community in South Africa, how does the coloured person then know I'm actually Khoisan? Are you working around that for people to understand that you're not coloured, you are Khoisan, and is there a way to trace it back? Can you trace your lineage?
Yeah, so with us coloureds, I'll say with us coloureds, we don't want to know that we are Khoisans. Reason why we have this perception of a Khoisan had this hair that was, you know, those rusty hair, the cheeks was ugly, the bums was ugly, so they don't want to be associated with it. But if you go back in history, you will find yourself linked to something. It's either you were a Griqua, your granny was a Griqua, or your great-great-granny was a Kurana or a San, but somewhere along you are a Khoisan.
Thank you for sharing a piece of South African history with us on the show this morning. We're talking about women of purpose, and you are amazing, and I do hope you collaborate with the Khoisan to uplift our community and our country. Thank you indeed, Margot Williams.
Thank you so much.
You are a phenomenal woman.
Thanks.
And as we move along, I am absolutely blown away by the depth of the women that I have chatted to thus far this morning on the show right here on Perspective. There's still one woman to talk to. She, of course, is standing by to join us and to share her story. And we do have part 2 of Women of Purpose, which will play out next week at the same time. Beverly Smose is her name. She is also a woman of purpose. She has been nominated, and she too does amazing work. She focuses her work in the Ward Committee 82, that's Westbury and surrounding areas. And I think the moment you mention Westbury, people have shivers going down their spine. And I think she's one of the women who wants to change that perception. She wants to uplift that community, and she wants to give the youth of Westbury an identity and meaning to their lives. Very good morning, welcome to the program, and I'm so pleased to be meeting and discussing these very pertinent issues with a woman of purpose as yourself. Welcome.
Thank you, Auntie Julie. Good morning. Thanks for having me on your show. I'm not taking this opportunity lightly, and I'm just saying thank you for affording me the opportunity.
My pleasure entirely. How did you find yourself in this space, and why is it important?
Some time ago, after coming out of the corporate world, I didn't know what to do with myself. You know, one gets tired of the corporate world. I mean, working for a boss, and so I decided to start my own company. Wasn't sure which direction I'm going into or what I'm going to do, so I started a company called Monyentla Warona. The meaning of it is opportunities for all.
Wow.
So I didn't know what to do, what I'm going to do with this company, but my main focus was on our youth, trying to help our youth, and I didn't know where to start, where to go to, or what to do. So then an opportunity arose for me where I spoke to some people from Nompumelelo was this lady's name. Actually not sure how things something, but they started with this NASFAS campaign. And they asked me if I would then go out and get our youth. And then one morning we stood around, didn't know what to do, and I actually went to CJB which is a school in Bosmont. And I made this video, and I call upon all the youth to come out to see CJB, because why they had this campaign there. NSFAS had the campaign where they started and they called out the youth, you know, all the matriculants that wants to do something. And I said, what am I going to do? And I started out with that. That went on the success.
So started out with that doing what exactly?
Recruitment for our youth, getting them into university, helping them.
To help them fill out the NSFAS forms, etc., and get the necessary funding.
Yes.
Okay.
So we had this containers, what was there, the mobile containers was there at each and every school. So like I said, when I went out to CJB, I started off there, just making this video, not knowing. I didn't even know that my video went viral. And it went as far as Eldorado Park. So I got calls and people calling me from Eldorado Park, can we come, can we come? We ended up at Westbury High, we ended up at Coronationville Senior Secondary. So we went all over Nuclear, Westbury and surrounding areas. And that's where it all started. Then I said, you know, I think I need to get some funding, and maybe I need to start with recruitment, especially for our youth. Because while our children got that stagnant by sitting at home and not doing anything else after matric. So I thought that I would be that one person by just pushing them, getting into workplaces. And
so Beverly, you helped quite a number of youth, helped them apply for filling the NSFAS forms, and you've seen quite a number of youth going through university and making something of their lives. I also know that you help youth who are looking for jobs, and we know that unemployment is sitting at, or youth unemployment, at almost 40% in our country. So you help them put together the CVs and try and find them jobs. I also know that you do the hard slog by walking from construction site to construction site, trying to get youth into employment. But what are you doing regarding and we know that Westbury is just one of those terrible, it has this, the moment you say Westbury, people have this perception of a place that is just littered with drugs all over the street. It's very, very sad, but it is also not too far from the truth. Is there work being done in that area trying to get our youth off drugs and try to rehabilitate them and let them have a meaningful life?
I must say yes, because why we have different organizations, like we have the Mighty Men of God. My husband is part of them, so they also ex-drug addicts that is reformed right now. And what happens there is that they take these children from the streets. I've got Pastor Sylvester as well. He's in Florida. So they also come into Westbury with their campaigns, you know, getting these, I think it's Rhema Freedom in Christ. So they also come and they help.
So you work hand in hand with them?
We work hand in hand with them as well. So it's MMOG, Rhema Freedom in Christ. And then we have guys from Eldorado Park, which is from Gangs to Grace. We've got a lot of other drug organizations also that they also come into the area, and they have their campaigns, or let's say outreaches on a Saturday, and yeah, we are part of that as well.
Are the youth interested enough to turn their lives around? Do they attend? Are they hearing what is being said? And what more support is being given to them? Because it's easier said than done to say stop drugging, but they need a lot of support through that process.
Yes, I must say, you know, I think the lack of that is that our children don't have no role models. And I can say that from these mighty men of God, Gangs to Grace, you know, those men are giving back to our children currently, because why? Our children, they lacking the fact that they don't have no brothers. So when they come into what's the name, with these organizations, they actually get a father figure, they actually get a brother. So that is the men that they can look up to and they can identify, because why, these are ex-users, and I mean most of them are pastors. They are clean for over 13 years, they are clean for over 8 years, 15 years and all that. So I must say some of them really come on board, and there is really change. We're just hoping that for more organization like to form, hold hands with us, and that we can actually be that change in our communities, because why? Oh, our children are dying. Our children are dying daily. And I must say, when I'm on these group chats, you know, it's actually, you know, you don't even want to go on these community group chats, because why? It's like, somebody else's child is laying on the street, you know.
You're also involved, you serve on the Ward Committee 82, that's Westbury.
City of Joburg, yes.
Yeah, surrounding areas. In that capacity, you do have quite a bit of clout. What are you going to do, or what are you doing to make a difference in these communities? And it's great that you do voluntary work at old age homes, but I think the important thing here is the upliftment of our youth. We can't have a lost generation. We need to save our youth.
Yes, we do.
So as a counsellor, what are you doing? How are you pushing that agenda forward?
I'm not, correction,
I'm
not a counsellor, no, I'm in the ward committee, yes.
Okay, so on the committee, you still have a lot of clout.
Yes, it does. You know what, let me speak about Ward 82. We've got a very absent DA counsellor, so there's no work being done, and it puts a lot of strain on the ward committee members, because why, I do service delivery daily. On a daily basis, we've got flats, New Clare, Westbury, Claremont, dilapidated flats. We've got flats that is, you know, my cry out is one court, Maxwell Court, which is in Claremont. That flat is so dilapidated where my heart goes out for those people. We've got more than...
And they have no option but to stay
there.
But to stay there. They have nowhere else to go to. They
stay because why? Yes, the council is failing us, government is failing us on that as well. So what's going to happen there? God forbid. I always say to all of them, from the councillors to the MMCs, to the MECs, to whoever is in charge, I always tell them, God forbid Maxwell Court is going to come down. Because
like the other buildings we've seen
the other buildings,
in the Joburg CBD. We're going to wrap up in about a minute. Very quickly, the very important message you want to get out to our community, and what else are you going to do to continue this amazing work?
I'm going to do everything in my power, everything, praying daily, going, seeking for help, and I think with the help of my political party as well, which is the Patriotic Alliance, we will bring the change.
We sincerely hope so. What do you want to say to the community very quickly?
For the community, I just want to say, hold on, don't lose hope, don't lose focus. I can't, but we can. If we just join hands, everything will be okay.
Well, there you have it. 4 amazing women in studio today, and they have been nominated as women of purpose, working really hard within their communities. And also what you might have heard is that they're all from the West Rand, and some of those communities are in a very, very bad state, I think, physically, emotionally. You know, when I say physically, I'm talking about the dilapidation, I'm talking about it being riddled with drugs and other social ills and evils. So we commend these amazing women. We know they're working very hard. Let us all support them in every which way we can to make a meaningful difference in our communities, save our youth, and save our futures. So we commend them, and I am going to ask our camera person to give us a wide-angle shot of the women that are here in studio with me. And of course, from me, thank you for watching. Till next week at the same time, you're going to be meeting 4 other amazing, phenomenal women of purpose. Assalamu alaikum and Khuda Hafiz from me, Julie Ali.